I'm a 29-year SAG member.
I'm a 30-year SAG member.
This is the first time in, 60 years that we've been as unified as we have been with another union.
That's
the WGA
true.
and SAG have not been on strike together since, I think it's been 60 years.
And frankly, all workers seem to be behind us. We have nurses, the painters union, people are popping, teachers have been here.
And in our 20 plus years in the union, I've never seen our union, our 160,000 members as
motivated
yeah. and cohesive as they are right now, because
yeah.
it's a really big union and there's a lot of infighting. There's factions.
Yeah, because there are people who work in different ways,
yeah.
But right now it seems like
fighting.
People are going, we need to live, we need to pay for our bills, and we're watching all of our incomes, no matter what we do, except for the 0.03% at the very top.
Yeah.
Everything is it's
right.
It's disintegrating. I mean, I used to make a great living, and now I guess I would be considered poverty level.
Yeah.
It's residuals being puny. It's streaming offering lower paying contracts. What else is it? Stuff.
Well, originally, people online, we get a lot of hate from people saying, oh, it's time for you to get a real job, or, why, this is what you signed up for. And my response would be, it's actually not what we signed up for, because
isn't.
When we started in the union, it was more of the network contract paid us residuals when the show was successful.
It paid better initially, too.
When the show was successful, the show would get re-aired and we would get money for the re-airing. Then when it got bought into syndication, we would get money for that. When it aired on cable, and that was what would happen when a show was successful. If a show got canceled, it got canceled. You didn't make any more money.
My first TV credit was Star Trek. That was
yeah.
It helped me get through dark times that we all have. We all have times where our flavor is not popular, and that's what we've learned over time. Some of us are very frugal, but we've learned that we can rely on a few things to help us get through the hard times, and those are gone now.
We rely heavily on the residuals because our, when we're out there and our likenesses are being used and our faces are out there, sometimes you'll go through leaner times where you won't get hired as much, and the residuals are what help us.
And nothing has advanced with inflation.
No,
nothing.
With the
it's gone backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So with our own contracts, we've gotten small raises, but it's never accounted for cost of living increases as well, inflation. And with the streaming model, it's very different.
Yes.
So with the streaming model, there are certain things that we will get residuals on, but on the free advertising TV and the advertising video on demand, we get zero residuals on those.
And as we've seen, the people at the tippy top of all these organizations are making more money than ever seen before. So it's not trickling down at all. In fact, they're stopping up all the trickles don't do any trickling. And also, I think one of the most telling statistics is 87% of us don't qualify for insurance anymore, which is only $26,000 a year, which if you live in LA or New York or even Atlanta, I think that's not a living wage. I've never had a survival job, which is kind of amazing. However, now I feel like in my elder years, I might have to go work at Walmart or something. I don't know, but no, I won't do that.
I think that Stephanie and I are a good example of why we're all fighting, because we're people who actually do make a living.
Yes.
Not a crazy living, but just make a decent living and able to pay our rent and everything.
And we've been doing it long enough. We've watched it decrease and decrease and decrease. Even if we might be working more. I feel like the last 2 years I've worked more
and made less,
which is crazy.
What I'm hearing is somebody younger coming underneath you doesn't necessarily have the same opportunity.
No.
Oh, not at all. In fact, I say this often. I feel bad for the younger actors coming up in the world, because either you have to hit it super big really fast, but really where you learn your craft is by doing and doing and doing. But if you can't make a living or anything doing it, maybe people aren't going to do it anymore.
That's what everyone is worried about, is that it's just the end of,
artists.
If you ignore what's happening now with actors at our level, then you're just going to be watching movies that have two celebrities talking to each other for the entire movie, and there's going to be nobody else.
But even I have a friend who's
no best friend, no comic relief, nobody sidekick, nobody.
And when that's me, I'm the funny sidekick. But I have a friend who's a stand-in. She's made a decent living being a stand-in, and last time I saw her, she was in tears because she worked with several crews. They're her home base. It's all gone. And, she's not married. She doesn't have anything to fall back on, but she was fully employed as a stand-in every day. unless she took some time off. And now she has nothing. And I'm sure, I don't know the stand-in rates, but I'm sure they were watching their income
and
plummet
background
as well.
actors, I mean, there's a lot that we're fighting for that people think is silly or ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it's whether people agree with the profession that we chose to go into, I think everyone agrees that labor deserves to be paid, and we are essentially labor. The background actors are labor.
And
the
I think,
stand-ins are labor. The day player actors are labor.
Everybody, it's trickling down to the restaurants in town, the costume shop, the places where costume shops go to buy vintage stuff. I have a friend who has a shop on Magnolia in Burbank, and her business is, she can't pay her rent because she gets a lot of people coming in from the studios to buy vintage clothes. So it's a far-reaching
I was just going to say
issue.
it's far-reaching. The strike is not ending is it's affecting a lot of people in a really negative way that aren't in unions, agents, managers,
Operators.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody below the
DPs,
line.
everybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like, George Clooney, I think Fran said this, it's an inflection point. Either we're going to support the people under the tippy top or we're not. And we have to decide that now.
Yeah.
It has to happen now.
I mean, there's lots of rampant theories. There's one theory that people keep talking about October, not that it would end in October, that it's going to go at least until October because apparently from what I hear, that's when they report their quarterly earnings to their shareholders, and they want to make it seem like to the shareholders that everything's great, and the AMPTP is trying to make it sound like they saved $100 million so far, and ignoring that they've cost billions.
And I've also heard it'll last till the holidays because it will. All the actors and writers will be suffering so much at the holidays, they'll just give in. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's all rumors. No one really knows.
No one knows. Yeah,
the
writers are coming back to the table.
The writers are in talks this week.
So,
but it's a media blackout while they're talking.
Yeah, so we don't know. We're not going to know until something happens. And
I hope they get a good deal.
Yeah, I do too. They've been doing this longer.